Lord. Good morning, kids. How the heck are you today? It's another great day to have a great day, right? That's learned that from my buddy Thomas Warden. Anyway, welcome to the Kong Family Show. Today, we are going to do a little listening to Dr. Michael again. We're going to listen to him explain Kong's water. This is a really, really good video. Hey, Paul, how's it going, buddy? I believe that when I go to my share screen thing and put the video up, I lose the live feed on Facebook as far as being able to see people's comments, being able to see who's in, who's not, whatever. But it does go up on the page apparently because it was there yesterday. When Dr. Michael was done explaining the competition, it was all there. And so that was exciting. But I think this is going to be a real valuable one because the thing is people just don't understand the difference between water. You know, they're just like I was. They think, and they're correct, by the way, they're correct. Because they think that water is just water. And the truth is, they're absolutely right. I was 100% correct in my analysis before I knew anything that water is just water. And that's absolutely true. H2O is just H2O, and it's all poison. Doesn't matter whether it's clean or not. It doesn't matter. If it's dirty water, it's just even more poisonous. That's all. I call it life's great conundrum. Because on one hand you have to have it, on the other hand it's killing you. It's a very slow acidic poison, and you've seen it in the Kong's lab demonstrations that we've done where we've literally showed you the positive ORP of regular water. And my water, I have some of the very best water there is in the world. I'm super lucky. I didn't even realize it either. I just started to learn that over the last couple of weeks as I found out that your water source is actually quite important, because I get a way stronger negative ORP on my water coming out of my SD501 than most people get out of their K8s by almost the tune of double. So anyway, super blessed in that regards. And so I'm going to go ahead and just fire this baby up. This video is about 26 minutes long, I think. And Dr. Michael goes through talking about, the specifics of this water, why it does what it does, how it, and once again, because I got to tell you, water is H2O. Kong's water is H2 negative OH for about 48 hours after it comes out of the machine. And so that's what makes it special. After about 48 hours, it just turns back into regular old plain old H2O. And yes, it's poison, just like every other water. So anyway, that's kind of the gist of it, what we're going to talk about, what we're going to listen to today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And we are going to go to this screen here. And we are going to switch over to Dr. Michael. And we are going to go into full screen mode. Let's see, what about theater mode? Let's try that. Yeah, why not? Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Hold on. I got to stop the share here for a second. Okay, let's go with this again. We need to share computer sound and optimize for full screen. Hey, you guys can learn a little bit about Zoom too on how you share your screen. Always trying to bring value here at the Kong Family Show. And, remember, kids, our goal is simple. It's just to change the world, and we're doing it. So we're going to share the screen again here. I'm going to move me up and out of the way. And it is now time. Wish I knew how to get rid of this thing. I don't know. Look at that. I can move it up and out of the way like that. Hey, looky there, kids. Learn something new every day. So we're going to go ahead and hit the play button. We're going live with Dr. Michael Donaldson.
Hello, welcome to the new Dr. Michael Explains the Water presentation. This is a more detailed explanation of the water presentation that I did on YouTube a while back that seemed to go viral. I've tried diligently to correct any and all mistakes that I made in that, and I'm trying to more accurately represent all the information. However, I need to clearly state that this is my personal opinion based on my personal research. It is not associated or affiliated with any water ionizer company whatsoever. With that said, let's begin. There we go. Excellent. I named this presentation The Magic of Sky Water because of what it did for my daughter. Many of you have asked what happened. Basically, my daughter Skylar was born back in May of 2009 with a severe case of gastroschisis. She was literally born inside out. Everything that was supposed to be on the inside was the outside. Stomach, liver, pancreas, spleen, small intestine, large intestine, bladder, and right ovary. She went through a period where the biggest complication was known as acute dehydration syndrome. She spent a year at Scottish Rite. She came home after 2 colostomies and a resection of her bowel. When the dehydration would hit, this would be her mid-afternoon one day, and this was her that evening after she'd been revived at the hospital. Basically, the bowel would shut down, and so I became a hydration expert. I tried every pill, potion, water ionizer you can imagine, and we came through it when someone introduced us to the Enagic SD501. That is Skylar today, and at the time that we tried it, I was actually completely opposed to alkaline ionized water. When it worked, I was a little dumbfounded. So I had to figure out why, and here's what I found. The difference between the healthiest person and the sickest person is broken down into 2 components. Muscles, ligaments, bones, organs, tissues, etc. These all add up to 28% of the patient. The other 72% of everybody is just water. What I found out, not all water is equal. There's distilled water, there's reverse osmosis water. We tried filtered water, alkaline water, we even tried ionized water. We thought we'd found something with alkaline ionized water and it proved to be more dangerous than beneficial. And then there's something that's called electrolyzed reduced water. This was truly a game changer. Here's why. Electrolyzed reduced water, it's not a cure, but it's 72% of the Skylar puzzle. It was not the only thing we did for her. It was the only thing we changed because we were doing everything else. What it is just science. It could realistically save your life. It'll make you healthier, happier, and stronger. But if you don't make healthy choices, your health benefits are not going to be as effective, nor will they last. To put it simply, electrolyzed reduced water gives you the best possible 72% of your body to work with. This facilitates nutrition, detox, health, energy, healing by providing some necessary components. Let me explain. If you think of your body as a saltwater aquarium, you've got healthy organisms, filtration, you've got oxygen. If you don't take care of it, that tank gets dirty. Well, what you have to do with the human body is figure out how to clean your fish tank. The way that your body does that is through a process called cellular respiration. This is the way you basically get oxygen and nutrition into a cell, CO2 and toxins out of a cell. The main component for this is known as the aquaporin, which was discovered in 2005. And essentially, it's the high-speed plumbing system for the cells, and it's the fastest way to get the good stuff in and the bad stuff out. Let me give you a brief course on cellular respiration. If you look over here, you'll see that there's a cell. There's some hemoglobin here. There's an aquaporin here. There's a charge. And this represents a cluster of water molecules that are electrostatically stacked together. Well, as your cell compresses, it excretes CO2 and toxins. When it pops open, it brings in oxygen and nutrition. When it collapses, it excretes CO2 and toxins. When it opens back up, it brings in oxygen and nutrition. This is called tensegrity. It's the premise by which an MRI works. The click, 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 click causes the cells to open and close. The computer takes a picture, generates the image. Well, electrolyzed water actually does occur naturally. Everybody say it's an unnatural source. It isn't. It happens when a lightning strike hits a lake or the ocean or something like that, and the charge on the water in that area lasts usually 3 to 4 days. What it does is it disassociates the water molecule. If you look over here, this is a technical term. A lot of people ask me, well, my chemist said it's not possible. That's because your chemist doesn't understand electricity. He's a chemist. He's looking for a chemical means to do it. This is electrical. When you use electricity to burst the bond, you'll take this H2O molecule and you break off a hydroxyl or a hydrogen. Sometimes you break them both off. What that does is it releases molecular hydrogen, active oxygen, hydroxyl ions, which are a free radical scavenger, in a water that's literally restructured for rapid absorption, thus maximizing nutrition and detoxification. It's nothing more fancy than that. It is superior hydration because your body needs these four things. Let me explain. When your body goes to produce energy, you oxidize pyruvate that is then driven across a hydrogen-charged membrane into the Krebs cycle. In the presence of free electrons, you'll produce 32 to 34 ATPs. Then you need hydroxyls to scavenge out all the garbage. That's it. Works on a cellular level. Another thing that's different between electrically changed water and chemically changed water is electrically reduced water is not affected by stomach acid. The pH is a byproduct. When people say, oh, you need pH water. No, they don't. They need water with molecular hydrogen, active oxygen, and hydroxyl anions. Alkaline water is just water with more minerals. It is affected by the chemistry of the stomach. Electrolyzed reduced water is not. Another factor is it's self-limiting. The charge in the water only lasts for 3 or 4 days. Therefore, it's not going to build up in your system. If you have chemically altered water, it will build up in your system. It will affect blood pH because the calcium, magnesium, potassium get stuck there. Currently, I have not found any negative research on PubMed in regards to electrolyzed reduced water. That doesn't mean there isn't any. It means that I couldn't find any. So how does this work? Well, basically they took a lightning strike, put it in some medical grade titanium plates that were dipped in platinum and put it into a machine that's about the size of a coffee pot. And what it does is it takes this big clump of water molecules and zaps it. When it zaps it, it breaks it into smaller groups because it has an electrostatic charge, giving you some free electrons, the molecular hydrogen, active oxygen, and all that. The more charge you hit it with, the more it breaks it down. Here you've got 5 groups of 5 or 6 groups of 4. You could have 2 groups of 12. It just depends on the level of ionization. It's a rather simple process. If you think about this cluster of grapes, if I wanted to put all of these grapes into this bottle, I would rip each piece off and dump it in there. If I tried to cram the whole thing in there, there would be grapes that were rolling around the floor and missed the thing and all that. We want to get in as much as possible. These are not chemically bound molecules of water. If you chemically bind them, they're no longer water. They're not one giant molecule of water. It's a cluster of water molecules that are stacked together because they have a low electrostatic charge, a lot like Rouleau factor in the blood. Another way to look at it is when my son was rolling around on the carpet, his hair got a high static charge. He's actually holding onto a necklace that's not causing his hair to stand up. But what happens is the hair dispersed. It got its own little static charge and it caused it to stand up and spread out instead of laying down clustered together. When you ionize water, you're causing the water molecules to disperse. That's all you're doing. If you want to research this phenomenon like I did, don't use Google. It is my personal favorite search engine, but it's also the one that's most manipulated and hard to reference accurately. Besides, you can support anything with a quick Google search. The world was supposed to end several times. Just check Google. Instead, we're looking at something more scientific and how it affects the body. Do clinical research on PubMed, and you'll find that if you look up electrolyzed reduced water or hyphenate electrolyzed reduced water, molecular hydrogen, active oxygen, hydroxyl anions, free radical scavengers, you're going to find what I have found, that there's a lot of research to support this type of water. You're also going to find that if you look at pure alkaline ionized water, there's a lot of dangers that are associated with the remineralization component, which we'll get into in a moment. Molecular hydrogen is easily the primary benefit of electrolyzed reduced water. It literally charges a cell membrane of every single cell in the body, increasing its electrochemical potential. That means makes it healthier, able to get good stuff in and bad stuff out. It's also a critical component for the nervous system. There's a vast amount of research on PubMed in molecular hydrogen in Parkinson's, in MS, in autism, things like that. And finally, it works as a powerful antioxidant. The next component of the water is it is loaded with active oxygen. Active oxygen is what's required to produce ATP. It's what's driving the Krebs cycle. When you run out of active oxygen, your body starts to shut down because it can't work correctly. It's just like a fire. If you remove the oxygen, it goes out. Finally, there's the antioxidant and free radical scavenger components. Basically, iron in any acidic environment will start to rust. You can leave your tools from your garden outside in the rain and they're going to rust. Well, where do we have iron? We have it in hemoglobin, we talked about during cellular respiration, but we've also got it in the red blood cells. We got it in the brain, the kidneys, the lungs, the lymphatic system, the bones. If it's in an acidic environment, it's going to oxidize, which will create a toxic burden. Your body is designed to be slightly on the alkaline side. Today, we're flush with oxidative and acidic disease processes. The number one acidic disease process we have right now is cancer. It's actually, the prime cause is oxygen deficiency. You can look up Otto Warburg, there's some research on that. Don't Google it, go to PubMed, read the research. Number one acidic disease is hyperketoacidosis, which is basically diabetes. They're now causing autism, diabetes of the brain. Secondarily, all of your inflammatory diseases are acidic by nature. That's what's wrong with Skylar with her irritable bowel syndrome. Your arthritis, it's an acidic waste product. Fibromyalgia, hyperlactic acidosis. Chronic fatigue and endocrine stress is all associated with an acidic environment. And why are we becoming so acidic? Well, we drink coffee, tea, soda. There's an enormous level of reverse osmosis, water, which is misunderstood. You don't want water with the lowest parts per million of anything. That makes it acidic and it won't even carry a current. It's designed for coastal countries to have good water supply. If you do some clinical research on this, you're going to see that it's associated with MS, MD, and Alzheimer's. Most any of your bottled waters, all your big 24 packs, those are most likely reverse osmosis water that's had minerals added to it, which is dangerous in its own sense. You don't get your minerals that way. Here's a couple of guidelines for hydration. If you're a regular healthy person, you want to drink about 50% of your body weight in good water every day. If you have acute health issues, this could be dehydration from working out in the yard, excessive level of sports, you could have the flu. You may want to drink nearly 75% of your body weight in ounces. However, if you have a chronic health issue, cancer, diabetes, something like that, you may need to drink up to 100% of your body weight in ounces. However, you got to be careful because your physician can specifically reduce your water intake for congestive heart failure, kidney disease, things like that. So why do I say that sodas and pH are important? Well, if you look at this scale over here on the left, it's red. That means it's going to make you rust. Over here, the blue will make you beautiful. This is what a typical capful of soda can do to the body. This is a 32-ounce bottle of pitcher of 9.5 water. You can see the pretty blue color. It's loaded with hydrogen, oxygen, etc., etc. This is about a tablespoon of Sprite. It's high on the acid content. So what I did is I poured this water into this cup and ended up with a cup full of acid. It didn't dilute it at all. I then took this cup and poured it into 32 ounces. Now, mind you, this is a tablespoon of Sprite, and it destroyed 32 ounces or 2 pounds of water. Makes you think differently about going to McDonald's and supersizing it. You're literally acidifying your system. Yes, lemon juice in your water will do this as well. The reason that lemon water affects the body in an alkaline nature is it causes your pancreas to excrete an 8.8 enzyme to neutralize it. Just as a side note. Other things that we do. This was huge for Skylar. And I didn't realize it was such a big deal because we ate a lot of organic food. But you can use this water to clean your veggies. These are cherub tomatoes that I used to buy and just rip the top off and start eating them. I washed them in the 11.5 water from my SD501, and that is what came off. I was appalled. I was amazed. It tasted like they were fresh garden tomatoes. And when you smell this, it smelled like there was Windex or cleaning agents in that glass. And the reason that happens is because all of your pesticides are petroleum-based, so they don't wash off. Another thing we use it for is our pet. I thought this was funny, so I'd include it. Thanks, Henry. This looks great and all, but does your house have any Kangen water? We did the proverbial test, put out a bowl of tap water, put out Kangen water. Callie will drink the Kangen water every time. Another thing is the disinfectant aspect of this. This isn't just 2.5 strong acid. Because it has that solution chamber on the side, which 90% of all water ionizers on the market do not have. This machine produces 2.5 electrolyzed hypochlorous acid. The other machines do not. That is very important. Electrolyzed reduced water has been shown to kill MRSA, Kripke staph, E. coli staph, strep, all of that. Even worked on the C. diff. That was a problem with Skylar. None of the other water ionizers that do not have a specific saline solution can produce hypochlorous acid in an FDA-approved level. And let me explain. In 2009, 2 months before Skylar was born, the FDA approved hypochlorous acid. It's a sterilant. It will kill just about anything. They're now starting to use it in all hospitals all over the world and places like that. A lot of physicians are using it, wound care specialists. We've been heavily involved in that because of the miracles we've seen with it. However, electrolyzing regular tap water without the addition of a salt solution does not meet the FDA criteria. As a note, the FDA has not evaluated the SD501 either, to the best of my knowledge. What it has done is there's been a third-party evaluation by ATS Labs where they reran the Sterilox system FDA experiments on live cultured bacteria, and they got complete sterilization that was equivalent to the Sterilox system. Basically, hypochlorous acid occurs naturally in the body because it's produced in the immune system. It's actually the biochemical agent that starts the clotting process, making it ideal for initial wound care, and it destroys bacteria and viruses. Recent studies are actually underway to test this using necrotic wound. I'm working with several physicians and wound care specialists as it pertains specifically to necrotizing fasciitis, gangrene, MRSA, things like that. The results are really promising. We're not the only one doing this. This is a global thing, and the results are really good. Why I look at the SD501 exclusively, or when I compare the competition, because they all want some information. Number one thing is power supply. Does it have enough energy to do it? There's been a lot of song and dance about the SD501 uses a transformer. It does, but it also has a switch mode power supply to regulate that and a condenser. If it doesn't have a transformer, it can't ramp your 110 watts up to 230 and keep it there. Switch mode goes up and down, up and down, up and down. What this transformer does is it ramps it up, and the switch mode will start to slow it down, but the condenser allows them to work together to keep a nice stable stream of energy. On top of that, you need enough amperage. A half amp to a 1 amp machine is not going to get it done. Doesn't mean it's not a good machine, it just means it's not comparable to the SD501. You need 2 to 3 amps to make it effective. You can ask any electrician. The voltage doesn't really matter, the amperage will kill you. The next component is you need a large quality plates. Most competitor plates are about 53 square centimeters. The Enagic plates are nearly 90 square centimeters each. So if you have one of the competitor machines with 12 plates, they've got like 600 square centimeters. Well, the basic Enagic SD501 has 640 square centimeters. The Kangen 8 has 720 square centimeters. So just because it has more plates doesn't mean the plates are the same size. Next, I look for a liquid saline electrolysis enhancer. That's because it's the only way to produce FDA-approved levels of hypochlorous acid. If you're looking at a competitor's machine with 12 plates and a pH that goes from 1.1 to 12, and it doesn't have a saline solution enhancer, it's not a comparable machine. It will not do the same thing. Yes, it will produce 2.0 pH water, but it will not produce hypochlorous acid which is what you're looking for. Another thing to avoid is anything that says energy saver. When it says energy saver, it means it's underpowered. If it's underpowered, they're going to add in minerals and remineralize it and the necessary minerals for your body. That means it doesn't have enough power to get the job done. If they come in with a super fancy plate pitch, it's plated and it's mesh and it's a hybrid and it does this, you don't need it because solid plates are the most stable plates there are. And yes, they need more power to run effectively. And anytime they say there's a lifetime warranty, there's no such thing. I've bought several machines that I'll explain in other videos. We're getting to do a detailed thing on competition. Basically what they'll do is when they start to have problems, they sell off that brand, that machine to a third party and it voids all the warranties. It happened to me twice. The ST501 was about the 9th machine that I used. And I've kept looking because it may not be the best. I research this regularly, and sure enough, it comes out on top every time. I'm just going to hit this. Basically, when you're looking for power factors, it's watts times amperage times surface area. The ST501 has 358,000 PEUs. A typical 110 watt unit with 268 square centimeters of plate, which is a 5-plate machine and a half amp, is only at 14,000 PEUs, or about 4% of the power, so they have to add minerals. Finally, don't own a machine that you can't clean. I see a lot of line about plates, calcium, and auto cleaning. The Enagic SD501 auto cleans itself every 15 minutes. And they have a manual cleaning cartridge that gets rid of not just the calcium on the plates, but the calcium in the lines. It gets rid of the mold and the stuff in the lines and the housings. I've taken apart several machines, and they're loaded with mold in the housings, the tubing, but the plates look good. Some of the plates erode on some of the competitors, but that's another thing. In fact, most municipal water supplies are getting worse and worse and worse. And Enagic is staying abreast of this and realizes that they need to have a dedicated team of technicians that can completely clean your machine. If you can't clean your machine, you're most likely going to be drinking mold. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. But the machines that I've taken apart, I found mold in every one of them. And I took care of them according to manufacturer's standards. Here's a couple of plates. This is the size of the plates on my Royal machine. When it stopped working, this is a Jupiter. They look scorched. This was the SD501. These are about 6 years old. I had some corrosion here. This was my microlight. When the company failed to honor the warranty that was lifetime, I took it apart to see what was inside. You can see there's a burn mark here where the plate started to corrode. This is the Jupiter. Actually, if you come back here, you can see this is the mold that I was talking about in the lines and in here. Now, these, mind you, were machines that never needed cleaning. These plates don't have any calcium on them. They were accurate. There's no calcium on the plates, but the machine was not clean. There's a reason why everybody compares themselves to the SD501. Basically, it is the industry standard. It's superior maintenance and cleaning. The quality of the plates are unsurpassed. The superiority of the power supply, to the best of my knowledge, it's the only one that uses a transformer and an SMPS and has a condenser. You can literally unplug an SD501 while it's running, and you're getting about another 10 seconds of power out of it. And that's just draining out the condenser that makes sure that the power stays even. It's one of the longest companies in the history of the industry. They have a wider diversity of uses for the water, the types of water it produces. And it's one of the few that actually use an electrolysis solution for hypochlorous acid. If their machine is bragging that they don't use a solution, it doesn't work. You can't use it for sterilization, period. Why I personally feel the ST501 is the best, I tried 8 or more alkaline water ionizers. Bottom line is it worked for Skylar. Within 4 days, 80% of her symptoms had resolved. She had her first solid bowel movement in 10 days. And within 6 months, she was off feeding ports. Was it the water? Yeah, because it was the only thing left to try. Did it cure her? No. We were doing a lot of things. Enzymes, probiotics. She was doing her medications. She was doing protein powders, MCT oils, medium chain triglyceride. She was doing all that. But the water was allowing it to get into the cell and the bad stuff to get out. The short answer is it produces 7 types of highly bioavailable water. It is already endorsed by thousands of hospitals and used thousands of doctors and used in hospitals all over the world. The drinking water it creates has high levels of hydrogen, oxygen, and antioxidants. It can also be used for FDA-level disinfecting, cleaning, food prep, and cosmetics. I'm Dr. Michael. If you have a specific question for me, you can email at drmichaelexplains@gmail.com. For more information about electrolyzed reduced water machine that we use for Skylar, please go to skywaterinc.net. Hopefully we'll clarify some stuff, and that should help you people a lot. And if there's anything that I can do, let me know. Look forward to some more meetings that we're going to have coming up. More webinars. We're going to be doing a detailed explanation of Skylar's story. We're going to talk about electrolyzed reduced water and the science behind it in detail. There's a detailed presentation on hypochlorous acid. Everybody's really looking forward to the Dr. Michael Explains the competition and why I say that there really isn't any. By the time you buy some of the competitors, there's some that go, why the SD501 doesn't work, or it's a pyramid scheme or whatever. They honestly have no idea what they're comparing. If you look at their machine and spend $3,200 or $2,500 for it, you have to turn around and spend another $3,000 to $5,000 for a hypochlorous acid machine. Then you have apples to apples. You don't get that when they're trying to pitch you on why you don't want the SD501. Bottom line is, it is the best machine that I have found. The only thing that I think may rival that is the Kangen 8, which has 8 plates. I've used it. It's phenomenal. We recommend it a lot. I look forward to having you getting some feedback on this. Have a great day.
Woo! Awesome.
Powerful.
Have you seen that one before?
No, I've not seen that one, and I'm going to want the link on that. He was talking about sterilization instruments. I've got a couple distributors, Silbs and Lexus. They got one in a clinic, and she has put them. Hey, Gina.
I got my sweetie right here.
Hey, you guys get a room, will you? Get a room. No.
Have a great day.
Love you, sweetie. Have a great day. Hey, yeah, so it's a matter of sterilization of these instruments. And Alexis was telling me something that's supposed to be in this book, which I got a few years ago and I've yet to read. So I really want to tear through this once I can get the time and make the time and what have you. But yikes. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out the protocol for sterilizing. You see it in that what doctors are saying about Kangen water, if I'm not mistaken. You see a brief little deal about, I think it's the periodontist that uses that for her dental instruments. But there's an issue with rust. Obviously, anything under 7 can rust. So if the 2.5 is the deal, I'm wondering, do you keep it in the 11.5 for most of the time, and then before you're about to use it, it only needs 30 seconds. Then do you throw it in the 2.5? That's not what's been done so far, and I'm digging. I'm trying to dig. I've asked the question a couple places and on Facebook, but yeah, he mentioned some of it right there, so I think I got to go back through it. Forgive me for watching it. I've been on the phone all morning since about 7:15, man. It's been crazy. So
that's a good thing,
trying
right?
to figure things out. Yeah, I had to hop on as soon as the horse presented himself. I jumped on bareback. I ain't got no saddle. I wasn't ready to hop on, but I'm here and I'm riding and I'm whipping and a whirling.
There's actually a video that I watched a while back with Dr. Filzer and Wade Lighthouse, where Wade is interviewing Dr. Filzer, and they talk extensively about the 2.5 water, and it doesn't have your typical, according to Dr. Filzer, as my memory serves, it doesn't have the same characteristics of like a typical acidic thing. it's acidic and it does what it does, but it doesn't like stay there and sit and eat away at things. According to Dr. Filter, as I remember, you know, like you could gargle and swish around in your mouth with 2.5 water and not bother cleaning it, not bother flushing it out,
following it up with 9.5,
whatever, and it just dissipates away. It doesn't sit there and continue to eat away at your teeth, eat away at anything. And that's according to Dr. Filter in that thing that he did with Wade Lighthouse.
Wade Lightheart.
Lightheart, yeah, Lightheart.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It used to be Wade.
Sorry, Wade. You know, hopefully someday we can get you to come on the Khan Family Show, and you could, you know, set me straight on that, Mr. Lighthouse.
Yeah, it used to be McNutt. That was his name originally, is Wade McNutt, but he changed it last several years to Lightheart. And yeah, good dude. Got his things going on. But yeah, this thing right here, I think it's important. You know, yesterday it was funny because I've been dealing with some people that are dancing around, and maybe that was part of some of my mojo, but I'm just, yeah, I think what this stuff is here, what we're doing here is for anybody that wants the truth. I get it. And I want those people because they're refreshing, man. They're beautifully refreshing. You don't have to convince them. You just got to point them in the right direction. You got to point them in the direction of the truth. People got to find the truth themselves. You know, we can hold their hand and do this. And I've often been a compassionate dude, heartfelt dude that I am. You know, I know you're the same way. You really want to guide people to the Kong's waterfall. You know, you want them to stick their mug under it and drink it so they can beat their chest. And the sad reality is most of them aren't, you know. So, yeah, you know, those people maybe down the line, you know, maybe they'll be part of the late majority. Maybe they'll be part of the early majority. Heck, they might even be part of the early adapters. But at this stage, there's such a lack of knowledge. They're still, whether they know it or not, in the early 2.5% of the creators, the innovators. I call it the chefs. You know, we're in the chef stage right now, and there's this new dish. And only a handful of us have been able to taste it, and we've tasted it, and my goodness, we're licking our chops like we got butter and grease all over. It's awesome. It's delicious. But no one else knows the dish. Most of the people are walking around the table seeing this dish, and they're like, oh, man, I don't know. It looks crazy. I've never had it before. I'm going to go home and have my boxed macaroni and cheese with my cut-up weenies and a can of chili. That's what's good for me, you know. And here's this healthy dish that, you know, only the courageous and the truth seekers are seeking. Once that dish becomes out there, this thing is not stopping. Sorry.
Good. That's good stuff right there, brother. That just tells everybody, it shows people that, hey, the world is rolling, things are happening. People
yeah. A lot of it's my personal stuff, man. You know me, I'm juggling like a circus clown, trying not to drop any bowling pins, you know. I'm just like, flipping them behind my back, catching them off the bean. I got a couple Wile E. Coyote things that have popped me from, you know, the bowling pins that I haven't been able to do, but I pick it right up and I start juggling it again, you know. You got to keep the right frame of mind.
Amen.
But yeah,
Amen.
This type stuff, it was great to come on there. Ricky Bowden, you are a straight up player in the game of collaboration and just working together. Because I'm talking to you about getting this YouTube link from you. This white boy drops it on me like it's hot within a matter of seconds of hearing that. So God bless you, RB. You're the man.
Alexis is on here, just so you know. She's on the live. Yeah.
Hey, Alexis, I am working. I've been on the phone. This book I'm trying to thumb through, but I fell asleep going through it last night. I was skimming and trying to take the Cliff's Notes version of this 200-plus page beast, but it is something I have to read. And, you know, I don't know if you caught that part about JJ talking about Filter's deal, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. These guys are really making things happen down in Arizona, and she's got some action that she started before she boogied out of the big sky. So that's who we're trying to address. And help her get that information. So I put it out there to a couple groups. Sylv's even laughed at me. I think maybe I did it to that group like when she initially asked a month ago. So I get a ha-ha from that cool breeze, man. But in my head, I'm like totally spaced it. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of that for her, because those guys got some good things going on. And yeah, it's only the second clinic we got a machine in, you know, so I really want to covet that, and I want to treat it with reverence and all the respect I can, because the more people are exposed to that in that environment, the more people are getting exposed to it that we wouldn't be able to address personally, you know. So I love those type of environments. That's why I'm so heavy. That's why I focus so much on the tribes. You get into a tribal program that serves so many people, and on a reservation there's one diabetes program, there's one Head Start, there's one old folks home, there's, so if I can continue with what I'm doing, we're going to just reach more people, and to be able to do that outside Indian country in more of a, you know, business climate oriented perspective, as Alexis's gal is, that's even cooler, you know, because it just, you're reaching a broader range of people. So yeah, I'm really trying to step up and handle what I can to find this for her, or for you if you're listening, Alexis. But yeah, we're making it happen. And he kind of touched on it a little bit in that, and I just kind of caught wind of it at the end. So I definitely want to explore that.
One thing I'd like to add about the 2.5 water is I've actually told this story before, but what the heck, I might as well tell it again, because who knows who heard it. But 2 years ago, when I went down to the fossil show down in Tucson, we took our machine with us for the first time down there, because we realized we didn't want to go 3 weeks without our water. So we took our machine with us, right? We hooked it up and all that. And the first morning, the first morning that I woke up with a toothache right here. And that tooth right there was aching and hurting. And I was like, oh no, this is great, terrific. You know, that's just what I need, a nice big fat toothache to go with all the stress of this show to start with, you know. Anyway, what I did is I gargled. I created some 2.5 hypochlorous acid, and I gargled with it 6 times that day. Every 2 hours I would gargle. And I would sit and gargle. I'd shake it up really hard, really super hard, so that it was like, whoa, Nelly, you know. And then I'd drink a nice little mouthful, and I'd sit and gargle with it until it literally lost its flavor. So it would take about 2 minutes of just kind of swishing it. And I was kind of paying most attention to that spot and going,
right,
right, you know, to get it right around that tooth that was hurting.
Yeah.
And I gargled with it 6 times that day, every 2 hours. And by the time the day was over, that toothache was gone, and it has never come back. And then after listening to Dr. Filzer and Wade talking about it, because what I used to do was gargle at night. I actually brush my teeth with Kong's 2.5 water every night. I put it in there, I flush it around and everything, and then I take my toothbrush and start brushing and just kind of try to hold it all in there while the water's getting all over me. That
dribbling kind of out of your lips.
Yeah. And when I used to do that first, I figured that I needed to flush my mouth out, right? So after I was done brushing, I would flush my mouth out with regular water, or with 9.5 or whatever, you know, and just to get that acidic out of there. But then after listening to Dr. Filzer, I decided not to do that anymore. And so now all I do is just kind of give it just the tiniest little flush, and that's it, and call it good. And it's been doing really good for my teeth. They're actually getting a little bit whiter.
Nice. Is that with the 2.5 or the 11.5?
The 2.5, the hypochlorous acid.
2.5 is good for brightening the teeth too. Just in the context of the stain remover, the 11.5, it's kind of works in that regard as well. I've tried doing that too.
Yeah, and so that's just my own personal experience with it.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it to people. You know, when I sell somebody a Kangen machine, especially if they have kids, I let them know, hey, if you have your kids brush their teeth with this water, you know, your days of having to go pay for dental, you know, what are the root canals and cavities and that kind of stuff, that's over with. If you do anything at the dentist, it's just going to simply be having them clean your teeth, clean your kids' teeth, and then go, oh, you know, your teeth are great, you don't have any cavities, because they won't. They will not have any cavities. And if they're just every day, if they're brushing their teeth with Kangen water, their cavities, their days of cavities will be over with. And so that's just another one of the ways where I'm always saying that Kong doesn't cost, he pays. Kids, you know, out there, I'm telling you, man, Kong pays. He doesn't cost. You got to stop it. $5.45. This is at its worst, too. Shawn, this is at its most expensive. It's most expensive. Kong's water is $5.45 a day. Is that correct? Or is it
for the first 2 years?
For 2 years, $5.45 a day for 2 years, and then it's over with, and you now own the thing, and now you're literally talking pennies a day to be able to have all of the water that you need to put into your body, to clean your system out, to do everything that Dr. Michael was just talking about on that video. And it, you know, and then you're, you know, it's now the investment is over with. Now it's really and truly going to be paying you. I mean, just the fact that I didn't have to go to a dentist down there in Tucson to get rid of that toothache, how much money did that save me? How much money did that save my insurance company? That I didn't have to go to the dentist. I got rid of that toothache with Kangen water and nothing else, and it has never come back. And it's been 2 years now. So wow. Kids, this is so much more than just drinking water.
Hey, can I touch base on that? Listen, in my senior year in high school, I had a stainless steel screw put into my fifth metatarsal, the pinky bone of my left foot. Between the toe and the, you know, the long part, the foot part, not the toes. I broke that bone. And they put in a stainless steel screw in this little configuration of wire. Then he took it out a year later, and they left a little wire in there, didn't even realize it, wasn't told. It would just kind of stay in there and whatever. When I started drinking water, Kangen water, this was like back in the late 80s. So fast forward to 2009, 20 some years after I got going on it. After the surgery and all that, it started giving me little troubles, started giving me pain here and there. And I've got this little tiny circle. I've got this knot on my bone. It's like a calcium deposit or whatever. Every once in a while, dry, flaky skin will pull off and it's like a donut. I think that screw or that wire is working its way out because just in the last few days, it's been really painful. I walk and it's crazy. So yesterday was really hurting. I don't know why, just out of nowhere. The weather's getting nicer. It isn't tied to a cold front or anything like that. It was throbbing. So I stuck it in last night watching game 7 of that hockey series. I soaked it in the 11.5. It worked pretty well. I got done around 9:10. I went and filled up this bag with 11.5, froze it, and just for later, right? I woke up this morning in excruciating pain about 2 o'clock. My foot was throbbing. It felt like it was crazy. I went and got that ice pack that I created and wrapped it around that with this, you know, Velcro thing that I have, and woke up this morning with that on my foot. Woke up this morning and it totally feels good again. And it's like just 11.5 water to reduce the swelling, to reduce the inflammation. Topically, JJ, topically. I've seen it work for knees. I've seen it work for stings and spider bites, things of that nature. But to know it's down in a bone in my foot, And I got this wire, I swear, working its way out of my foot because this little tiny, tiny hole keeps showing itself at the top of my foot. I mean, it looks like a donut. And if it gets dry around that little knot, that calcium deposit, I'll sometimes tear that off if I'm walking around barefoot a lot in the summertime. And I got this tiny little hole. And it's like, there's something going on because I found out 10 years, whatever ago, that it was, starting to feel funky when I started drinking the water. And they're like, oh, yeah, you got a little piece of wire from your surgery or something in there. It should be fine. They always give you their nonsense answers. It's just like they're grabbing straws and they say whatever they say to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. Like, oh, yeah, they got it. It's been crazy. In the last few days, it's been brutal. I finally was like, I'm just going to sit down and soak it in 11.5, and it rocked.
Yeah, well, there you go, kids. That's there's just so much more to it than just drinking water. People need to come to grips with this if they really want to. Like Sam was saying, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to save your life. That's what we're here for, you guys. We're here to save your life. You might think that, oh, we just want to make a commission. Yeah, whatever. I'm so sick of hearing that kind of crap. It's just ridiculous. I actually have.
Yeah. And here's something, Loretta, beautiful.
I don't care where you get your machine from. Just
lovely
machine. That's all there is to it.
Here's what I got from Loretta. Posted this yesterday. Before you attempt to heal someone, ask him if he's willing to give up the things that made him sick. That was Hippocrates.
Wow, that's
and a lot of people are not. A lot of people are not willing to give up what's made them sick. And again, at that point in time, pat them on the back, tell them you care about them, and get the hell out of Dodge. They'll hit you back somewhere down the line, or they won't. But the bottom line is, again, like you said, continue to treat everybody with compassion, treat everybody to let them know. And it's funny because the doors I've left open from 5 years ago, just taking the barrage of insults and mockery and just mimicking and just, oh yeah, water guy, and I just sit there and take it, because I'm pretty thick skinned kind of kid. But then the next thing you know, they're popping up 5 years later and some panties all in a bunch trying to figure out what in the heck to do in their emergency situation, and I'm like, look, we'll do what we can, but I ain't making any promises. And everybody that I've done that for, that has allowed me to, has experienced some type of miracle or of some sort. Or the ones that haven't, yeah, they die, they lose a leg, they go through all this stuff, but, they showed me that I was dealing with nonsense. They proved to me that. So you just got to keep the right frame of mind. We're on to something. We got good things happening here. We've just got to keep putting it out. And like I said, I'm just still trying to juggle all my bowling pins, but they're going to be less here before you know it. Just got to wait for God's time. Got to trust all that. But yeah, glad I caught you. Hey, Nelson, what's up, you old tree climber? I got to meet this dude. I got to meet this cat, man. Look, he's got a pink umbrella. What a sexy son of a gun, that guy right there. That's priceless.
I'm walking down the
Your bandwidth is low, and I know that's not what you want the doctor to tell you, but if your bandwidth is low, Paul, you need to work on drinking more Conga 9.5 so it can broaden and enlighten your bandwidth and make your bandwidth high.
Wait till you
Lord.
video, Paul. You're gonna get such a kick out of what you look like. That's so hilarious.
That's awesome.
You told me the other day we don't give a crap what other people think, so I really don't care.
No, but we can bust each other's chops very, very emphatically because it's all done out of love.
Amen. Amen.
I love what you look like. it's freaking awesome. It brings a big smile.
You guys rock. You guys make me smile every day.
That a boy. I might have to give you a new handle. It even makes your hair look pink. I might have to call you.
Yeah, it's not a tall one. It's riding on my head.
Pinky Tuscadero.
Jeez.
Oh, you guys, I love you so much.
Right on, you guys. Yes, sir. Love you all, man. Have a great day.
You as well, Paul. Buddy. Giddy up, man.
We'll see you again tomorrow. You know, everybody, thanks for showing up. Thanks to everybody that's on the live feed. Great seeing you guys here. And just remember, we've just got a real simple goal. We're just going to change the world. How are we going to do that there, Shawn?
One glass of 9.5 at a time. Shazam.
One lightning bolt in a box. One awesome person at a time. That's how we're going to roll. That's what we're going to do. And we're looking forward to having you on the ride with us, kids. So with that said, have yourselves an awesome rest of the day. And of course, as usual, don't forget your hugs.
HooDeeHooo! Boy, Shazam.
Much love, everybody.
Giddy up.
Brother. Have a great one, Wetz.
You got it.
Great work, man.